If you've been following my channel for any reasonable amount of time, it should come as no surprise to you that I love DC Comics. I love the universe and how they are all basically just our modern day gods. However, there's always been that one DC Comics character that I just don't think he gets enough love. Of course, I'm talking about Aquaman. The Bulletproof King of Atlantis always seems to be the butt of the joke in the DC universe. I personally feel a lot of this comes from that old Justice League cartoon. You remember the one that you would watch on repeat every Saturday morning?
Aquaman, who with his teenage ally, Aqualad, guards and defends all that lives in the seas against the forces of evil.
Yeah, that one. It's actually become kind of a tired and cliched trope to make fun of him among comic circles. What if I said that Aquaman was in fact one of the DC Universe's biggest badasses? Ladies, gentlemen, and fellow Atlanteans, you know what? No, this isn't going to work. I'm going to need to bring in an expert on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Giovanni Menendez from A Week in Geekdom. Take it away, man.
Don't mind if I do. You see, guys, over the years, Aquaman has had many different incarnations. However, arguably, the most quintessential run on the character has to be the Peter David Aquaman. Peter David's run on the character is seen by most as the defining take on him. Remember how badass Aquaman was in Justice League when he got the hook hand? That came from Peter David's run. This run centered around the main concept of duality, specifically the character's own duality. You see, Aquaman is part Atlantean and part human. It's this conflict that is at the center of David's run. The second involved David slowly introducing the 7 lost cities of Atlantis, and the fact that the real reason humanity is on planet Earth is that we are meant to serve as slaves for a group of intergalactic travelers that have come to reap their harvest. David's run is filled with a lot of political talking and discussion on what it truly means to be a hero. David really humanized the character and made him more of a man that was trying to do the right things, but dealt with his stubbornness that would often get in the way. Over the last few years, DC Comics has had some of the most amazing and talented writers grace the company's doors. Perhaps one of the most celebrated, though, is Geoff Johns. Johns' record stands for itself. His Green Lantern run is known as the definitive take on that character. So imagine how happy fans were when Johns announced that he would take over writing duties of Aquaman. What we got was a fantastic and modern-day take on the King of Atlantis. Johns manages to breathe new life to the character and flat out tackles the criticism and naysayers of Aquaman. Johns presented Aquaman more as a hero that was fighting for respect and acceptance in the community that the character lived in. One of the aspects that I really enjoy about this run is the fact that John establishes early on that Mera is a very strong and independent character. However, she doesn't really share Arthur's affinity for the surface world as much as he does. This eventually boils over into a conflict between the two and takes the story in a direction that focuses on her own personal struggles as much as Arthur's. Throughout John's short run on the character, he takes Aquaman from the surface to the deepest trenches of the ocean, making it a grand epic that should be picked up by fans. Next up on this list, Aquaman American Title, or as many longtime readers refer to it, Aquaman Sub Diego. Written by Will Pfeiffer, Aquaman Title centers around the character of Anton Geist. Geist ends up sinking the city of San Diego, and over 4,000 people are killed in the incident. Perhaps the truly questionable thing is that, while yes, thousands of people did die, thousands of other people now have the ability to breathe underwater. This is a fun B-list story that, while not being as integral to the overall Aquaman mythos as the last two picks, it serves as a great introduction for someone that is just starting to get into the character. The last one on my list actually focuses more on the history of Atlantis and what led to the birth of Aquaman. The Atlantis Chronicles, written by Peter David, was a 7-issue miniseries that portrayed the history of Atlantis through the eyes of its chroniclers. Each of the 7 issues is an examination of the Atlantean mythos through the eyes of its writers. This, my friends, is epic storytelling at its finest. If you are someone that is a sucker for history, it's a must-own supplemental collection that will give you a greater understanding of what the history of Atlantis is and where a huge chunk of material that was used later on for other writers came from.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out my channel, and thank you, Giovanni, for helping a brother out when he needed it the most. He stepped in at the last minute and he recorded some voiceover. Thank you. Guys, you can find Giovanni's channel linked in the description below. Check it out. If you like my content, I'm sure you'll like his. As always, drop me a like, drop me a comment down below, and there's the Patreon if you want to kick a brother a couple of bucks for this content. I love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.